Now it's the
I
next
had
day.
nightmares all night, Holmes. As for you, I bet you didn't get a wink of sleep, did you? It's this chalk message business, isn't it?
Among other things.
And this lunatic is still running free. If only we knew what he looked like.
But we do know, Watson. We have a fairly accurate description.
I must have missed an episode of your adventures, Holmes. Not only have I heard you discredit the value of our eyewitnesses, but the few descriptions we do have don't seem to correspond.
An inaccurate account can regain its value if we can discover why and to what extent the truth must be rewritten. We've learned a great many things tonight, and I'm able to tell you what our man looks like.
Really?
Yes, and we're going to need a few things, Watson. Find me 3 mannequins, my worker's costume, my 3 full wigs, one of your worn garments, yes, that can be used for the workman's outfit, and one of your old suits. Oh, and my deer stalker, the one I never wear, but everyone seems to think I wear day and night.
Sherlock fetch quest. Well, first off, we need... There's that. There's one mannequin.
We shall place our mannequins here, Watson.
I like how Sherlock's doing nothing. He's like, Watson, give me stuff! Watson, give me stuff! I want some stuff! Well, I can open it, but there's nothing in it. Just peek in.
A wig. This will come in handy.
Is that everything?
Have you assembled all of our material, Watson? Have you assembled all of our material, Watson?
Apparently not, because if I would have, then I probably would have said I did. 3 wigs. It looks like I have. What haven't I gotten? 3 mannequins. Oh, my worker's costume. My 3 wigs. One of your... Oh, maybe I didn't get the worker's costume. Oh, it's a Regulus. I feel like I got all that stuff. Yeah, I've got everything. Maybe I have to put them on the mannequins.
So, as for one of the murders, we have no witnesses whatsoever. As for the 3 other, we have at least one person who claims to have seen the victims talking to a man a few minutes before their death. Do you remember whom these would be, Watson?
Oh, jeez. Holy cow. This was one of them. This one. This guy? Sounds like this guy, too. Well, that one's not correct, apparently. Okay. Who else would it have been? He says something about it. Oh. We might need documents for this one. I think I might need a document for this one. No. This one then. No. Alrighty. Oh, I guess it was, no. I don't know. Not sure which one it is. No, maybe it was this. I think it was this one. Wait, we can't use the... Oh, because we have to get rid of that one. Okay.
Bravo, Watson. There are our 3 witnesses.
Okay. Height of the murderer. Three inches taller than the woman, who is 5 feet tall, no more. Okay.
Indeed, Watson, that's the right size for Abraham's mannequin. The account given by Mr. Solomonovich's friend is incorrect in at least one point. The first Joseph said that the man was at least 5 foot 7 inches tall. The second Joseph said he was 3 inches taller than the victim, whom we know was 5 feet tall, which would suggest a height of 5 foot 3 inches. Don't forget that it was this second Joseph who attracted his friend's attention towards the couple on the other side of the road. We can assume he got a very good look at them. There is an error, Watson. Let's reread Abraham's testimony. Indeed, Watson, that's...
Okay, well, guess we're keeping that. Wait, what's this one? Age. I don't see an age here. Okay, I don't see anything about an age, maybe, but let's keep looking. Da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. No. Wore a loose, dark gray jacket, a gray cap, and a red scarf around his neck. No, 30 years old. There it is. Wait, that's it, right? Oh, and he had a gray... a gray suit. A loose dark jacket, a gray cap, and a red scarf. And he had a light complexion. Okay, we don't have we have a gray cap. All right. Hey, what about this one? He was wearing a short black outfit, a small felt hat like a cap, and a dark collar and a white collar. Maybe it was the other way around. He was carrying a pack in his hand. He's barely 20 or even less, say, and 5'8" at the very most. Okay, and this one says... Saw a man and woman talking. At least 40. A little taller than the woman. Discussing approximately 5'3".
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two.
Okay. Clothing, brown deerstalker hat. Alright, that would be... I guess that... Wait. I have that hat. I don't have enough hats. I need another hat. I think I need a new hat. I don't think I have enough hats. I think I need another hat. Doesn't have any more hats. Maybe I have a hat. Oh, I probably have my hat. Yeah. I don't see my hat though. It's on the table or something. I'm wearing it. I don't know. Well, I don't see it, so I guess we'll just keep going. Dark hair. Dark brown coat. General appearance of the working class. Okay, so that would be the workers' coat. Alright. Well, he was wearing a hat too, right? Is he wearing a hat? It says he was wearing a hat too. We only have 2 hats. Dark hair and mustache.
There we are. Magnificent.
I don't think we had a hair color here. Did we? Like him in a fair mustache? This one says dark brown mustache. Okay. I still feel like we're missing a hat. I feel like we still need a hat somewhere because we're missing one. So where is this mystery hat that we're missing? Oh, there it is. It's behind. It was behind us. Okay, this one says he was wearing a cap in a dark color. Okay, so that would probably not be this one. I think the suits are probably wrong. Still no. So we got this right. What do we have wrong here? What do we have wrong? What is fair? What is a fair mustache? Does that mean we should go with blonde? I don't know.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
Yep. Okay, that is indeed what it means. We must have something wrong here. we saying 26? I think we may be saying...
As for young P.C. Smith's account, he must have been mistaken about this person's real height. It is only an inch or two after all, and we can attribute the same height as the other two. Bravo, Watson. Our mannequins have been recreated based on the correct accounts. Now, Watson, let's see in what ways these statements differ and how the witnesses could have been mistaken. Let's look at these wigs and moustaches. Let's start by taking the first Joseph's testimony, who saw the man head-on in a well-lit spot and in which he noted fair hair. Now, let's consider the same person, but in the lighting and angle of the other two witnesses, in the darkness of night, with poor artificial lighting from above. Put out the light, Watson. Thus, poor lighting and a backlit subject can affect our perception of shades and colours. The wigs from Abraham's mannequin took on the same colour as the other two. The three testimonies, therefore, don't contradict one another, and we can apply the same facial hair to all three mannequins. Turn on the light, Watson.
Okay.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Well done, Watson. With regards to the murderer's hair, the three witnesses should agree on Abraham's testimony. As Joseph is the only one who saw our man in full light, his hair must therefore be fair. You see, Watson, it is hard to draw objective conclusions when one is an eyewitness to an event. This leads us to reconsider the various statements regarding the supposed age of the man. Even if you are face to face with someone in full light and for a period of several hours, to what extent can you determine their exact age? And even more so if you observe them for only a few seconds and or from behind. We must allow some flexibility when considering our witnesses' statements, but always scientific flexibility.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Oh. The heck? What am I doing here? What am I determine the age range thanks to the tolerance of years listed. Okay. This seems stupid. This seems dumb. This seems like just busy work here. Like...
There we are. Magnificent.
This seems... Like, okay. I mean, it's simple math. Can I do simple math? Yeah, I can do simple math. I know what 18 plus 1 is.
Perfect, Watson.
Like, why am I even doing this? Can't we just, like, make this deduction? I mean, we're smart. We know how to do math, right?
There we are. Magnificent.
Yes, I have, Holmes.
Now that we have fully considered the witness accounts, let's see to what extent they agree. If we apply the range of error for each of our dummies, we can deduce the age of our murderer as precisely as possible.
Okay. So... if we...
Perfect, Watson. Within a margin of 1 year, Watson. The age of our murderer is 33 years.
But the man described by Smith was dressed respectably, whereas the other two were poorly dressed.
Indeed, but Whitechapel's respectively could quite easily describe the Sunday bests that all lower-class men own. Now, let's place ourselves in the shoes of Liz Stride's killer. He has just slain his victim and sees Louis Diemschutz discover her body. Our killer is at great risk if he stays in the area. He therefore gets away from this spot. But he wants to kill again. However, he might have been spotted in the area before having committed the murder by a constable on his round, perhaps, who managed to get his description. What do you think the killer will do?
Oh, that's a lot of options. What will Jack the Ripper do after committing the first murder and before committing the second murder? Find an accomplice? Flee? Buy a disguise? Wait a while on the premise? Throw his clothing in a sewer or trash bin? Return home or to a safe location? Enter a pub?
No, Watson. No, Watson. No, Watson. No, Watson. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, Watson. No, Watson. No, that's not it. No, Watson. No, Watson.
He wouldn't buy a disguise and change?
No, Watson. No, Watson. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, Watson. No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Enter a pub and wait a moment before exiting and searching for a victim.
Certainly not, Watson. Knowing his description may have been given out, he could not risk keeping his clothes. No, Watson. No, Watson. No, that...
Throw his clothes in a sewer or a trash bin and head off to find another victim.
It's hard to believe, Watson. Someone from a lower social class wouldn't throw away his clothing like that.
Hey, Dean, thanks for the rain. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Welcome, everybody. We're playing this Jank Fest, known as Sherlock Holmes and versus Jack the Ripper. It's an up and down Jank Fest. So it's not Turbo Graphics. No, a PC game. Was there one on the Turbo Graphics called the same thing? This is Frogwares. Frogwares when they were finding themselves, I guess. You really want to stay on my lap, don't you, Regulus? What were you up to? It also is not good at existing on multiple screens. I will say that. Okay. You were playing Splatoon.
No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. No, that's not it.
Go back home or to a safe location, change his clothes and leave again in search of another victim.
It's the only possible explanation, Watson. The man returned to the safety of his lodgings and then decided to go out again with new clothes and repeat his sinister nocturnal work. That's how the discrepancies between the witnesses with regards to clothing can be explained.
What a cold-blooded animal.
Okay.
And what determination! Powerful motives are pushing this man. Thus, we can conclude that the respectable man with the package may very well have been seen by the two Josephs.
Even if it is just a mannequin, it's giving me goosebumps. But have we really made any progress, Holmes? I mean, there must be thousands of men in Whitechapel who match this description, wouldn't you say?
You're right, Watson. We have worked on who, now let's work on where. We need a map of Whitechapel, and please also find me a pencil, 2 compasses, one of which can draw ellipses.
Fetch quest! Watson, give me some stuff! Again! I need more stuff! Watson!
We'll need a map, Watson.
I am in need of something. I am in need of something.
What do you need? Alright, well, whatever. Maybe I have some in my desk. I don't know. I feel like I have the stuff.
Have you assembled all of our material, Watson?
I feel like I do. I feel like I have the stuff.
First of all, let's place our 4 murders on this
Okay.
map, as well as the spot where the graffito appeared, and the piece of apron was dropped.
Get it. Get down. I don't know where people were murdered. Oh no! I don't remember this stuff. I don't remember where this stuff happened. What the heck? This game is expecting way too much out of me. Is this like a 1-hour game where you like were told all the story and stuff like that and expected to remember it within an hour? Okay, but jeez, man. I mean, they want me to go back here and look at stuff, I guess, but this is a rough game. This is honestly a rough game. Andy Chapman was killed on Hanbury Street. Okay. Well, hey, I was right. What do you know? Alright. We got Elizabeth Stride. I don't see Elizabeth Stride. Oh, we have Polly. Oh, Liz Stride. Okay, she was killed in Dutfield's yard. Should be here. Alright, and then we have, who's next? We have Polly. Polly Nicholas was killed Bucks Row. Then we have Catherine and the graffiti. Catherine was killed in the square.
Perfect, Watson. Let's connect each crime scene to the one out of the others that is the furthest. You see, Watson, the murders aren't grouped together, but seem to be spread out like cardinal points around a central zone. The killer obviously wanted to avoid returning to the previous scenes of his crimes, assuming that they would be more closely watched or that he could be recognized.
So the killer lives at the center of this cross.
In the vicinity, most certainly, but how near? We cannot afford to get it wrong. If you concentrate, Watson, you will notice that the murders are roughly equidistant from the intersection point of the diagonals. Let's focus on the night of the double murder. Remember, Watson, it took us 20 minutes to get from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square. Let's draw a line from one to the other.
What?
Perfect. We didn't make the trip as the crow flies, but that would not harm our estimate. Let's suppose the killer left Dutfield's Yard at 1 a.m. and arrived in Mitre Square at 1:35 a.m. when he was seen by the two Josephs. If he took 5 minutes to change his clothes, that leaves a range of 10 minutes to determine where this man's lodgings are. We must determine the area in which one can go from Dutfield's Yard to Mitre Square in less than half an hour. To do this, let's draw an ellipsis. The length between Dutfield's Yard and Mitre Square corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and which the sum of the lengths makes 30 minutes, we get our ellipses.
What? Does anybody understand what he just said? Because I don't. What did he say? He said words that were definitely words, but I don't know what they meant. He said, yeah, something ellipses. The length between the corresponds to 20 minutes. By adding half, we get a distance of 30 minutes. By taking the two right segments, each starting from the two murder scenes, and with the sum of the length. Okay, I think we need to make. Okay, I think I know what we need to do. I don't get it. What are you trying to get me to do, game? Like, what's the goal here? What is this game trying to get me to do?
Many, many minutes later.
There we are, Watson. Our killer lives in this area.
It's still rather a vast area, Holmes.
That's a moon
Yes,
logic.
indeed. And our goal is to reduce this area as much as we can. We must consider the fact that the murder at Mitre Square was committed under a certain amount of pressure, given that the killer knew he was wanted for the acts he committed not long before. We can assume that he had to do it in a safe zone, that is, an area not far from where he lives. This is especially true of an act such as the graffiti he carried out after two murders. Let's trace a circle around this point, with the distance separating it from Mitre Square as the radius. This will enable us to determine our killer's safe zone.
Let's see what we need to do, because I forget. We need to trace a circle around this point with the distance separating it from as the radius. This will enable us. Okay, I see. So we need to do this, I guess. No? This? Wait, I'm confused. What are we doing? What are we doing? I don't quite understand what we're doing now. Maybe we're supposed to make it a center from here? I don't know. Let's see what he said. Let's look at what he said again. I hate that I have to scroll down every single time. Let's trace a circle around this point with a distance separate. What point? What point? What point are we? What point? What's the point? What's the point? This point? This point doesn't make sense. Also, that's not a circle. Maybe this point. Maybe this point. I don't know. It's not even a circle. No.
Our killer must surely live inside this circle. Now, let's intersect it with the ellipsis that we previously determined.
Why are we doing that? Why? Why? Also, that's not a circle. Which kind of implies this is stretched to fit the screen. Now what? No, I don't want to erase anything. Okay.
There we are, Watson, the Aldgate district.
Shouldn't we inform the police so that they can concentrate their efforts on this area of Whitechapel?
It is probably already crawling with inspectors, Watson, and I doubt that they would take us seriously, even if they were willing to listen to what we had to say. Let's focus instead on understanding the killer's modus operandi. We know our murderer preys on prostitutes who are penniless, weak, sick, or alcoholic, that he distracts them the moment before killing them, and that he left an anonymous message inciting anti-Semitic hatred at the entrance of a building occupied by Jews. How would you describe this man?
What a coward.
Indeed, he is a person of great cowardice. Let's look at his murders, and in particular, the depredations on the corpses, putting aside that of Liz Stride, because on that occasion his work was left unfinished. If we recall the observations made on the victims and the parts that were mutilated or damaged on each of the bodies, without forgetting the fact that he also removed one or more organs, we can ascertain that our killer evolves during the course of the murders, cowardly and still evolving. And yet, look at the location of our first murder, that of Polly Nichols in Bucks Row. It is the most distant from the area our killer would appear to live. Perhaps this murder was preceded by another within the killer's area. I believe a cowardly killer would commit his first murder in an area close to his home in order to find refuge as quickly as possible on carrying out the act.
Holmes, an idea just occurred to me that fills me with dread. This evolution of which you speak.
He will pursue his next victim as long as the conditions permit him to continue killing, Watson.
But how could one go even further in this horror? Look at what he did to that woman, Catherine Eddowes.
In order to avoid having to answer that question, we must act with haste and planning. Watson, I suggest you inform yourself on the mutilations sustained by the victims. We played with the idea that this could be an act of vengeance against prostitutes. If the mutilations correspond to areas affected by a specific pathology, perhaps the killer wanted to give an eye for an affliction he felt the prostitutes he knew were responsible for.
And this trail leading to Dr. Tumblety Holmes?
I also have a few things to look into in the meantime. I still have a primary witness to track down, not to mention old trails I've yet to pursue. See you soon, Watson. When we first spoke about the Bucks Row murder with Watson, he was reading a newspaper, The Star, dated September 1st, 1888, I believe, which mentioned similar murders in the preceding months. I have no chance of finding the police reports, but perhaps I could find some information at the Central News Agency. I must go there at once. Afterwards, I'll go back to see Abraham, the owner of the pet shop in Whitechapel. The second Joseph's statement would lead me to believe that he may know the man spotted on the corner of Church Passage that night. If that's the case, I must find this witness so I can question him.
Central News Agency, then pet shop. That's where we need to go.
Bulling is there. It won't hurt just this once.
Are we gonna kick him? Punch him in the back of the head? Let's punch him in the back of the head.
Hello, Mr. Bulling. So, did your colleague tell you about the tip?
What tip?
I see. I gave him an explosive tip and he went without you? Oh, that's not very sporting on his part. No doubt he took all of the credit for his discovery.
You're winding me up, eh?
I must show Bulling something to make him believe me.
What do you want?
I'm not winding you up. The proof is that he gave me this advance on the debt.
The traitor! He owes me if I find him!
Before I leave, can you do me a favor?
Heck, tell me.
I'm looking for some reliable info on the murders committed in Whitechapel in the months before Polly Nichols' attack.
Reliable? Ha! You really think you'll find that here? Fine. I'll be honest with you. We have folders that group the dispatches from the current year into categories. In the police law category, you'll find the transcripts from the trials and investigations that we sell to the newspapers that ask us.
Perfect.
Sadly, I am out of time. I'll leave you to solve it, eh? You're the detective, aren't you?
What does that mean? I have no idea. Where'd he go? He's disappeared. He's probably the murderer. Look, he can just vanish. Wow, that's amazing.
The dossiers are full of papers in dated envelopes. I can't open them. That would be too obvious. How can I tell which compartment to look in? No categories are indicated.
Okay. What? Are you just gonna assume they're in alphabetical order or something? Wow.
This compartment was repaired recently. This compartment was repaired recently. An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information. An envelope is torn. I can tell that this dispatch contains economic information. This compartment was repaired recently.
Why would it have been repaired? Okay, this seems impossible.
This compartment was repaired recently. An envelope is torn.
Okay. Maybe there's other information around to help us. I don't know. Yesterday, I randomly placed a few inventions and science with politics dispatches. After all, they are always harebrained items. Given that the compartments are one on top of the other, it could have easily... Oh, okay. This is going to be a logic puzzle. We're going to have we've got ourselves a logic puzzle. Now I just need some paper to write things on. Where the heck is my paper? Alright. We got... inventions and science. Over or under politics. Alright. As soon as I have the chance, I will show him how, like in the news, everything is in balance. He looks like a half-wit. He can easily confuse the politics with the society sections on his right. Okay, politics. And on the right... Wait, on his right. Society. And this ladder with economy, which is its neighbor. So society, neighbor, next to economy. Okay. All right, we got some stuff. All right. More info. Oh, brother has a misfortune. My first is given spot of the stowaway and very cold in the morning. Next, I have to sort through the dispatches, the most tedious and boring work imaginable. Once the work is done, I must take each envelope to the journalist in question, who won't even deign to look at me. Finally, at the end of my third day, the boss called me into his office and gave me a sermon. Seems that I mixed up the dispatches. I was so worn out that I could only protest half-heartedly. He gave me a second chance. Now I'm in the sticky situation. The only hopeful note comes from my colleague, charming young woman who is the only one to give me a smile. She helps me as much as she can and tries to prompt me regarding which compartment I should put my dispatches in, because everyone So, okay. The politics and society are on the side. On side. Okay. Sports is underneath economy. Okay. Personalities is at the end of the row. End of row. Okay. I mean, you could just say here's where they all are. Front page news is the first compartment. And these are confident, and these are almost. I don't think I have volunteered for that. Okay, all right. Well, there's that. To improve the dispatch filing, propose major info up. What? What the heck is this word? Oh, high. It's high. That says high. Okay. News in brief is low. And police law is high. News and brief, which at the moment, which is for the moment up high, which is actually down low. Oh, so these are how they are. So it's high and low. Okay. Furthermore, the weather section is almost always empty. Put it with news. Okay, weather is almost empty. Okay, alright. I think that might be all the clues we have. Okay. Wait, nope. We got another. We got some more. Well, let's see what we can do with what we've got. Okay, we know... we have a lot here. We know that sports is underneath economy. So sports is here. We know that weather has almost nothing in it. So weather is here. Right? We know that front page is the first compartment. So that's here. We know that society is next to economy. We also know that politics and society are on the side, which I assume means society is here. And that would mean politics pretty much has to be here. Although it says personality is at the end of the row, which kind of like makes this not work. Also, invention and science is underneath. What? This doesn't actually work. Based on what we've got, this doesn't work. Because inventions and science is under politics. So we know... Okay, so the bottom row is going to have police and law. It's gonna have, oh wait, it's over or under politics. We don't know if it's over or under it. But it says that, politics and society are on the side. So that doesn't really work. That doesn't really work. Does it say anything about culture? No. Police and law is down here. We know that. Inventions in science is over or under politics. But politics is on the side and front page is the first compartment. This doesn't make sense. Alright, well, let's look at the other clues, I guess. See if they help us. The answer received news dispatches the file system that you made appears to be too small, particularly for the world and society sections, which cover too much area and overflow into the boxes below. Police, law, and culture, respectively. Would you be able to furnish a device in order to keep only one filing cabinet? While awaiting your response, sir, please, sir, accept the best wishes, director. So, the world and society sections, which cover too much area and overflow into boxes below. Okay. Okay, so culture is below. Culture is below society. And police and law. So society is above culture. And world is below police and law. Okay, we know that. And they also overflow, so they're probably full also. Alright, one more. Repair of the wood for news and brief compartment, £1. So news and brief has been repaired. And that's it. That's I think all of our clues that we've got. Hey Finkelroy. I hope you're doing well. Wait, what's this? The blue envelopes from the dispatch compartment contain confidential facts that must not be discussed. As a reminder, they contain the political personalities and economic issues. Okay, blue equals political personality and economic issues. Okay, cool.
Closed.
All right. Okay, so I think that's all the clues we're gonna get. So that's economy. So this is either it's either politics or personalities. So this must be politics, but politics has to be on top. It has to be. But it also said it was on the side, which doesn't make sense. Which means society has to be here. Well, actually it doesn't. And that means this has to be personalities, right? Sports is underneath economy. Personality is the end of row, which I guess it is. I guess this is technically the end of the row. I was thinking end was at the other side, but I suppose each side is the end. It says invention and sciences is over or under the politics. Police and law is low, which is either here or here. And news and brief is high. News and brief is... Wait, news and brief is the one that was repaired. So news and brief is here. Because that was repaired. So society's there. Culture is under society. Which means it goes here and here. Success.
These envelopes contain dispatches of police and judicial cases. Now, I need to open them discreetly. I must try to unglue the openings.
I'm a genius! I need to unglue the openings. I guess there's stuff here to do that.
I need something. I need something.
Need something to put in there. Oh.
Water. I need something. There, that will provide me with steam. Open, and it looks like I'm in luck. This envelope contains precious information.
The East Met held an inquiry on Saturday at the London hospital respecting the deaths of Emma Elizabeth Smith, aged 45, a widow, lately living at 18 Georgia Street, Spitalfields, who was allegedly had been murdered. It was allegedly had been murdered. Police Inspector West of the H Division of Police, attended by the Commissioners of Police, Mrs. Mary Russell, deputy keeper of the common lodging house, stated that she had known the deceased for about 2 years. On the evening of bank holiday, April 2nd, she left home at 7 o'clock and returned about 4 or 5 the next morning in a dreadful state. Her face and head were much injured, one of her ears being nearly torn off. She told the witness that she had been set upon and robbed of all her money. Witnesses took her to the hospital, and when passing along Osborne Street, the deceased pointed out the spot where she was assaulted. She said there were 3 men, but she could not describe them. Mr. George Haslip, house surgeon, stated that when the deceased was admitted to the hospital, she had been drinking but was not intoxicated. She was bleeding from the head and ear and had other injuries of a revolting nature. Witnesses found that she was suffering from rupture of the what's that? The peritoneum, which had been perforated by some blunt instrument used with great force. Where am I at? The deceased told him that at 1:30 that morning she was passing near Whitechapel Church when she noticed some men coming towards her. She crossed the road to avoid them, but they followed, assaulted her, took all the money she had, and then committed the outrage. She was unable to say what kind of instrument was used, nor could she describe her assailants, except that she said that one was a youth of 19. Death ensued on Wednesday morning, April 4th, through peritontitis set by the injuries. Margaret Hayes, living at the same address as the deceased, disposed to seeing Miss Smith in company with a man at the corner of Barron Street and Burdett Road. The man was dressed in a dark suit and wore a white silk handkerchief around his neck. He was of a medium height, but witnesses did not think she could identify him. Chief Inspector West, H Division, stated that he had no official information on the subject, was only aware of the case through the daily newspapers. He had questioned the constables on the beat, but none of them appeared to know anything about the matter. The coroner said that from the medical evidence, which must be true, it was clear that the woman had been barbarously murdered. It was impossible to imagine a more brutal and dastardly assault, and he thought the ends of justice would be better met by the jury recording their verdict at once than by adjourning to some future date in the hope of having more evidence brought before them. The jury returned a verdict of willful murder against some person or persons unknown. Police are making every possible inquiry about the case, but up to yesterday, April 8th, had not any clue to the persons who committed the outrage. Oh, we got another one. Yesterday afternoon, August 23rd, Mr. George Caller, the deputy coroner of Southeast Middlesex, resumed the inquiry of the Working Lads Institute, Whitechapel, into the circumstances attending the death of Martha Turner, or Tabram, a hawker, lately living at 4 Star Place, Star Street, Commercial Road, E, who was discovered early on the morning of Tuesday, the 1st inst, lying dead on the first floor landing of some model dwellings known as George Yard Buildings, Commercial Street, Spitalfields. When found, the woman presented a shocking appearance, there being 39 stab wounds on the body, some of them apparently having been inflicted with a bayonet. Alfred George Crow, cab driver, 35. George Yard Buildings deposed that he had got home at 3:30 on Tuesday morning. As he was passing the first floor landing, he saw a body lying on the ground. He took no notice, as he was accustomed to seeing people lying about there. He did not then know whether the person was alive or dead. He got up at 9:30, and when he went down the staircase, the body was not there. Witnesses heard no noise while he was in bed. Police Constable Thomas Barrett, 226H, said that the last witness called his attention to the body of the deceased. He sent for the doctor, who pronounced life extinct. Dr. T.R. Killian of 68 Brick Lane said that he was called to the deceased and found her dead. She had, she was called to the deceased, probably going to be dead. She had 39 stab wounds on the body. She had been dead some 3 hours. Her age was around 36. The body was very well nourished. Witnesses had since made a post-mortem examination of the body, and the left lung was perforated in 5 places. The right lung was penetrated in 2 places. The heart was penetrated in 1 place, and that would be sufficient to cause death. The liver was penetrated in 5 places. The spleen was penetrated in 2 places. The stomach was penetrated in 6 places. The witness did not talk about the wounds. Think all the wounds were inflicted by the same instrument. The wounds generally might have been inflicted by a knife, but such an instrument would not have inflicted one of the wounds, which went through the chest bone. His opinion was that one of the wounds was inflicted by some kind of dagger, and that all of them were caused during life. Henry Samuel Tabram, 6 River Terrace, Eastwich, husband of the deceased woman, said he last saw her alive about 18 months ago in the Whitechapel Road. They had been separated for 13 years, owing to her drinking habits. She obtained a warrant against him for some part of the time. Witness allowed her 12s a week, but in consequence of her annoyance, she stopped at this allowance of shillings 10 years ago, since which time he had made it half a crown a week, as she found she was living with a man. Henry Turner, a carpenter staying at the Working Men's Club, Commercial Street, Spitalfields, stated that he had been living with a woman, Tabram, as his wife for about 9 years, 2 of the 3 weeks previously to this occurrence, he ceased to do so. He had left her on 3 occasions in consequence of her drinking habits, but they had come together again. He last saw her alive on Saturday, the 4th inst, in Leadenhall Street. He then gave her 1 shilling. I guess that's shilling. 2, I don't know, D, to get some stock. He then had money. She spent it in drink while living with witness deceased usual time for coming home was around 11 o'clock. As far as he knew, she had no regular companion, and he did not know that she walked the streets. As a rule, he was, he said, a man of sober habits, and when the deceased was sober, they usually got on well together. Man, God, this is long. Miss Mary Brucefield, wife of the woodcutter residing at 4-Star Palace, Commercial Road, knew the deceased by the name of Turner. She was formerly a lodger in her house with the man Turner. Deceased would rather have a glass of ale than a cup of tea, but she was not a woman who got continually drunk, and she never brought home any companions with her. She left without giving notice, and owed 2 weeks' rent. Miss Anne Connolly, Pearly Paul Pole, who at the suggestion of Inspector Reed was cautioned in the usual manner before being sworn. Whoops. Well, what's D? Oh. You're saying D is Pence? Well, that makes sense. She knew her name. Witnesses. Wait, hang on. Who was the student? 2 nights living in a lodging house. Witness was a signal woman. She had known the woman Tabram for about 4 or 5 months. She knew about her name of Emma. She last saw her alive on bank holiday night when Witness was with her about 3/4 of an hour, and they separated at 11:45. Witness was with Tabram and 2 soldiers, 1 private and 1 corporal. She did not know what regiment they belonged to, but they had white bands round their caps. After they separated, Tabram went away with private, and Witness accompanied the corporal up by Angel Alley. There was no quarreling between any of them. Witnesses had been to the barracks to identify the soldiers, and the 2 men she picked out were, to the best of their belief, the men she and Tabram were with. The men at the Wellington barracks were paraded before witnesses. One of the men picked out by witness turned out to not be a corporal, but he had stripes on his arm. Inspector Detective Reed made a statement of the efforts made by the police to discover the perpetrator of the murder. Several persons had stated that they saw the deceased woman the previous Sunday with a corporal, but when all the corporals and privates at the Tower and Wellington barracks were paraded before them, they failed to identify the man. The military authorities afforded every facility to the police. Pearly Pole picked out 2 men belonging to the Coldstream Guards at the Wellington barracks. One of those men had 3 good conduct stripes, and he has proved beyond doubt to have been with his wife from 8 o'clock on the Monday night until 6 o'clock the following morning. The other man was also proved to have been in barracks at 5 minutes past 10 on bank holiday night. The police would be pleased if anyone would give them information on having seen anyone with the deceased on the night of bank holiday. The coroner, in summing up, said that the crime was one of the most brutal that had occurred for some years. For a poor, defenseless woman to be outraged and stabbed in the manner which this woman had been was almost beyond belief. They could only come to one conclusion, and that was that the deceased was brutally and cruelly murdered. The jury returned a verdict of a willful murder against some person or persons unknown. Okay.
The information excludes the murder of the first woman, Miss Smith. Jack the Ripper can't be the author of that crime. On the other hand, there are enough similarities to suggest he may be the killer of Martha Tabram. I must go to the pet shop.
Alright. Well, there we go.
I must go to the pet shop.